What's up, everybody? Thralls Metal here once again. I'm Necrotic Nick.
I'm Shredlord and Jammin Jon.
And we have an album review for you. So one that we definitely had on our radar because, well, we ranked this band, we fucking love this band, and I was stoked to see that they were coming out with a new album. We're going to go over the newest offering from Bloodbath, Survival of the Sickest.
Not to be confused with the Saliva album from back in our childhood. This is way cooler than that.
It's way sicker, and it will survive longer.
Yes.
Guaranteed.
Yes, someone will listen to it beyond the first month of its release.
There's probably some brochacho out there who's like, dude, I still fucking listen to Saliva.
Day. If you don't click boom, are you even man, bro?
It's sad that I know that's on a different album too.
Oh, I didn't. So yes, it is sad.
This comes out on the 9th of September on Napalm Records. This is their first album on Napalm Records since changing over from Peaceville, I believe. This band formed in 1998 in Stockholm. This is their 6th album overall, and this is a super group that is actually super. It's featuring members of Catatonia and former members of Opeth, and like just a lot of good Swedish bands, and then a fine Englishman who's been on the last 3 albums now. Nick Holmes on vocals, but this is also their first one with their new lead guitarist, Thomas Akvik. I think that's how maybe you say your name. Anyway, he's from Lick, and Lick is an awesome Swedish death metal band in itself. I believe he's actually played with these guys live, and they just pretty much said, hey,
I mean, it makes a ton of sense.
Yeah. You want to be in Bloodbath? Like, fuck yeah, I do.
Right.
And yeah, this is fucking Bloodbath. It is exactly kind of what I wanted from Bloodbath. I really liked the arrow of Satan was drawn. A little bit moodier, a little bit kind of groovier and more atmospheric. This kind of gets back to just the Bloodbath that I got into. Like, this is definitely very reminiscent of, I would say, Nightmares Made Flesh, maybe a little bit of Resurrection Through Carnage, and the Fathomless Mastery. I mean, it's pretty spot on to compare Bloodbath to Bloodbath. I think that's kind of a safe one.
Normally Nick's all safety third, but not today.
No, I'm going right for the extraordinarily obvious.
Now, before they released this album, we did get a couple singles, and one of the singles is actually the opening track, which is Zombie Inferno. And Zombie Inferno is a little bit different, maybe, than the rest of the album. A, it's the opener. B, it is very just kind of like gung-ho, right from the rip.
Oh, it comes out swinging.
It comes out swinging, and it doesn't stop. And while it is a very good, heavy, badass song, this song might be one of the ones with some of the least dynamics in it as well, because as the album actually goes, we get a lot more variety and dynamics. This one was just kind of like, Rochambeau, I'm going to kick you right in the fucking nuts, and here we go.
Yeah, it's stripped down. It is driven by triplet chugs and just, you know, gnarly fucking vocals. Nick sounds especially vicious on here. I think he sounds probably the most comfortable he has in terms of, like, you know, Bloodbath work. And he's doing a little bit more high screams in there too. And I don't know, we were reading on some review on the internet that he just doesn't sound evil enough, and it was like,
dude,
the fuck?
We disagree.
Are you listening to the same album? Because I feel like you're not.
He's enunciating everything very well, so you get to hear every horror trope and every evil thing he says, and it sounds gritty and throaty and just kind of like, you know, his larynx is at least part of the undead or something.
Now, once again, you all know me, and you know I like sick, heavy chugs, and this record really brings it. Songs like Dead Parade, just sour lemon stank faced,
right from the get.
Yeah, just punch you straight in the kidneys. It gets really dark, and even, oh god, the last track, which might be the heaviest thing on the face of the planet currently. Good God.
No God.
And right, good no God. Yeah, that song is just pure evil, which is all over this record because it's Bloodbath, but God.
That's a sound he's very accustomed to making.
You may have just seen his vinegar strokes, ladies and gentlemen.
That's not what I'm talking about. Not his vinegar strokes. It's his his hungry face.
Oh, kind of similar.
Yeah, glizzy gobbler, if we want that. I digress. Heaviness is not the only thing on this album. There is a lot of good groove. Songs like Putrefying Corpse, Carved, even some on Born Infernal. There is some groove and some melody that, once again, Bloodbath is really good at, like, Okay, so when you listen to a band like Gruesome, they're wearing everything on their sleeve, and we want them to.
Yep.
Bloodbath does a little bit better job of disguising the influences, but you can still tell that they're there. And I thought, lots of nods to like Death and some of the cool harmonies and stuff like that were really cool on those tracks. And I mean, what's heavy without a little bit of beauty? You know what I'm saying? So to add those melodic parts in there, to me, just made the heaviness heavier. And the way that, I forget what song it was, we were listening to it, and you made mention about how it just was really cool. The lead guitar was in the background doing a lot of dissonant single line.
Born Infernal.
Okay, Born Infernal.
Which is about the Omen. And I love that series.
Yeah, how can you not?
Fuck the remake, though.
The stacking of some single guitar lines in the background, just these single notes, which are like kind of dissonant to each other over the heaviness, it just adds some really cool texture and dynamics to these tracks.
That's kind of the thing I like about this album, and kind of Bloodbath in general, is when it's more melodic, it's still very dark and sinister. Like, it doesn't get to, like, this soaring epic. This is epic, but it's down deep in hell with a bunch of demons just fucking partying. And if it's not that creepy sort of melodic, sound that they have, it is flat out fucking brutal. And when they deliver some sick heavy riffs, which are all over this album, man, it almost hurts.
Like in Tales of Melting Flesh, when you get to the midpoint of that song, maybe a sitar, maybe a banjo, but that whole like bridge before it leads into the lead, they play a contrasting riff over the sitar, and it's just super fucking evil and nasty but melodic.
And little things like that can go a long way on making an album. And as far as the new guitar player goes, I think he did a fantastic job. Right in line with what I would expect from a lead guitar player of Bloodbath. Very fast, very heavy, very aggressive, but also too doing some melodic stuff, slowing it down a little bit to let some notes kind of ring out and give it more of an eerie, spacey kind of vibe in between. And I thought that did wonders. If I had a gripe about the guitars, I wish I could hear them better at times.
Yes.
I think there was a lot of compression as we kind of discussed listening to the album, which is fine. But when you get into certain parts of the song and you're following along with the guitars, and then the guitars kind of get a little lost when you're listening to it, small change, but I would have liked to hear the leads a little bit better too, because I thought they were really cool. However, maybe that's kind of what they were going for, just kind of have it in the background as
I mean, there was a lot of creepiness in the background. They built they painted a hell of a picture.
Solo wise, like, there's a fair amount of them, but most of the time it's those harmonies, those like descending creepy harmonies, and they add a lot of atmosphere. Honestly, like, in terms of atmospheric stuff, there's only, like, little blips here and there, occasionally some synths in the background, like Dead Parade has them, No God Before Me has them. And then you have, like, some extra stuff, like there's a music box that is clearly out of tune and slowing down. And why is that always fucking creepy? It's just like, it's like the church bell thing. Like, when you hear church bells on a death metal album, it's like, that's not a pleasant church at all. There's no fucking way that's a pleasant church.
No, that's Satan.
I mean, I'm pretty sure No Gods Before Me is playing at the gates of hell. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what you're going to hear when you walk in.
An absolutely nasty track. But when it came down to the leads, like, there were some that I heard better than others. It kind of depended on what they were doing. Like, if they were doing, like, the buzzsaw tone and doing a tremolo riff while fucking playing a lead, like, it's gonna get buried. But when you have a moment like on the lead on To Die, which is pure obituary worship, they even have Mark Grew from, formerly of Morgoroth, it actually shines because you have single chords being hit and the lead is just sort of soaring above them. So there's parts where it works, and then parts where it's just a blunderbuss of just insanity, like malignant maggot therapy. I didn't know that was a thing. That sounds like Cannibal Corpse. Like, it legit, I wrote down Demented Aggression. Like, it sounds like that fucking song.
Lots of crawling riffs.
If they told me Pat O'Brien fucking guested on this album on that song, I would have totally believed him. And Mark Grew isn't the only guest on here. We have Barney Greenway on Putrefying Corpse, which is fucking awesome. And he comes in a nice D-beat section, which is perfectly suited for Barney. We also have Luke LeMay from Goreguts on 2 tracks in here doing vocals, and he's more kind of in the background, sort of layering out the screens with Nick. And honestly, like, the guests do really well here. They kind of add to the atmosphere, and I really like Barney's section, especially because it just kind of gives it this punky, fucking snarly, dare I say, grindy moment to it.
It's Barney. I mean, there's that guy's vocally all over the map himself. I mean, if you're gonna slide into a wheelhouse, you might as well fucking go with what you're good at.
And one of the songs that really stood out to me, just because it feels like kind of a callback in a way, is the song Carved. That's almost kind of like a death metal anthem. The chorus is simple. It's almost just repeating the word over and over again, but it's like the entire band growling it in unison. And it kind of almost works as like a prequel to Eden. Like, you gotta carve the meat before you eat it, right?
That's right. True. We're not savages.
Well, hold on there.
You watch your mouth, sir.
As far as complaints, fuck. I was kind of hard pressed to find them. Like, you have like some minor production issues just in terms of like most of the lead guitars. And while Zombie Inferno is a good opener, I feel like the rest of the album continuously keeps getting heavier and experiments more. Like, by the time you get down to No Gods Before Me, which is just Satan prying open the fucking gates of hell, and a great inclusion of cleaner vocals in there too.
Yep.
Like evil choirs in the background, and then actually, you know, Nick Holmes singing in kind of a gruff chanted voice. Like, it almost works as like a sequel to God of Emptiness, but that is a god, and there are no gods before this band right now, so can't necessarily be that one.
God of Emptiness. Who does Morbid Angel? Didn't we do that discography ranking before?
We did do that one.
We did.
They have a killer debut album.
Oh my god, it's amazing, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Altars of Madness. John, have you ever heard it?
I hate both of them.
Oh. He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
He'll cry it out.
Nothing?
Everybody makes mistakes.
As long as you're willing to admit that was a mistake.
You know what?
There are so many. I wish I could go back, but I can't. It's on the internet already, so whatever.
Forever.
But we will remind him if he ever forgets.
Dude, you remind me. Fucking the fans remind me.
Thank you.
Dude,
Thank you all.
When we ran into that dude at Deicide, he reminded me.
Yeah.
Whoever dude at Deicide?
Yep.
You're right.
Enforced reminded me.
Yeah, dude.
It's whatever. It happens.
I mean, it is one of the greatest debut metal albums.
I mean, legit. I might listen to it later.
In spite.
Are we doing something?
Yeah, sorry, we're doing something. Anyway.
Jesus.
But yeah, as far as like any complaints, I really couldn't find many. Because this is Bloodbath. I kind of knew I was going to enjoy this. I did. And honestly, it feels reinvigorated and just kind of focused on being just Bloodbath. And that's all Bloodbath needs to be.
Yep.
So honestly, overall, I'm going to give this 4.5 stars. I think this album flat out whoops ass. This is up there with what I think is Bloodbath's best work, which, I mean, for me is all their work because I love that entire discography. And I get to say that again now because this is not a fucking turkey. This is flat out awesome death metal. If you love old school death metal and even modern death metal, like, it's kind of all here. Like, this is a great evil package. It's dripping with horror cheese left and right. So it's horror cheese over a nice plate of rancid potatoes and rotten meat. Dig in, motherfucker. It's good.
I'm gonna give it a 4. I have a couple of gripes, and much like they said, it's production-wise. A couple of tracks were as strong as they could have been, but for the most part, this record fires on all fucking cylinders. Welcome back, Bloodbath. When it's heavy, it is bone-crushingly heavy. When it's melodic, it is the most evil thing since Nick's birth. It's hard to really say anything negative about Bloodbath because they just kick ass in every way possible. But yeah, it's a 4 for me. I'm not going to talk too much because I don't need to fill your ears with a bunch of useless filler. This album whoops ass. Go listen to it. Go buy it. Support.
Doo-doo support?
Doo-doo support.
I am supporting a major doo-doo right now that I'm going to extinguish when we're done with this video. But you know, I was teetering between a 3.5 for a while, but I gotta be honest, I think it's a 4 out of 5. It is an excellent addition to the Bloodbath discography. It has all the tropes that I want and I'm looking for from a Bloodbath album, and it was given to me in a different way this time. So once again, I like eating the same meal when it comes to bands, but, you know, they put the parsley on this side of the plate instead over here, and it's a different meal, right? I don't know.
Right.
But no, nothing's repetitive like that. But when I listened to this album, I kind of knew what to expect, and they fantastically delivered. Epic heaviness, great dark melodies. There are things that everyone should love about metal, all encompassed in this album. So yeah, once again, another solid fucking album out of these guys. I mean, they don't have many of them, so they're all, for the most part, pretty solid.
Yeah.
I mean, but 6 albums in to be delivering a fucking banger.
2 badass EPs, too.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, 4 out of 5. This is an excellent listen. If death metal is your thing, or if you've ever been a Bloodbath fan, you're going to want to pick this up for sure.
So, if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up, and if you are new to the channel, subscribe because we do stuff like this all the time. We are also on Patreon. If you'd like to help us out there, there'll be a link down below to thrallsmetal.com where our Patreon is linked up. Also, while you're there, if you would like to check out our shop, maybe get a t-shirt, they are there. We are going to introduce some new merch here at some point. We kind of teased it with the Thralls Metal hat that he's not wearing right now. I was going to point at it, but
Yeah, I'm not
it's
wearing
not there.
Yep.
But we are going to have some new merch on there, and we will let you know when it's on there officially.
And last but not least, as always, we get to the thank yous, which are becoming increasingly more creepy as we go on. But,
well, we have to think of new ways to say thank you, because we're not going to stop saying thank you.
Right.
So.
Don't show the erection. Just tell them about it.
Sorry. I have an erection.
That's good. That's progress.
That's a start, I guess.
I want to share it with you, but I'm told I'm not allowed.
No.
We can't, there's no...
If you guys change your mind, you let me know.
We
I'm not
won't
planning on it. I don't think...
tell you or change our mind.
Okay, but if you change your mind, I'll be right here.
No.
But anyway, no, really, thank you so much for continuing to show up and view our content and talk to us, and man, to all our subscribers, that number just keeps climbing, which is fucking ridiculous. Thralls has become such a big part of really all of our lives. I can't imagine life without it at this point, and it just gets cooler and cooler and cooler, and it's because of you guys. Thank you very much. We appreciate your support.
Thank you for being a part of our family and a part of the metal family, you know? So.
Yep.
The life's blood of the channel is you. Sorry, that was weird.
We're going to lose a sub now.
All right, but thank you all very much once again, and we will catch you later.